Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. We are looking today at our first set of reveals both for my channel and for the upcoming set Zenkai 8 Legend of the Seven Dragon Balls, our 7th anniversary set. This is my favorite color. We're starting with it. I'd be lying if I said we're off to the strongest start in the world, but we're going to look at the cards anyway, see what they can do, as well as then give some predictions and maybe some old synergies. So right off the bat, we're looking at Gotenks. So it's been a little while since we saw a Gotenks leader. In the blue one, honestly, it's a very simple card, right? So on the front side, we're going to attack, search for a Goten Trunks or Gotenks, add it to our hand. Then, if we have a Gotenks card in play, 2 or more energy, that's when we can awaken as a 1-1, pick down to 6. The backside is almost good, right? So when a blue Gotenks is played by Union, you get to draw a card. So you can get a double draw when you awaken, right? Swing and then awaken, draw. But what this does mean is that on the backside, you're now going to be really limited to the fact that you don't just draw on swing. Like, this leader seems like it could also just draw on swing, as well as get this draw. And then when a blue Gotenks with the Union is played, you get to just free play a Z extra from your Z deck. Which is great, right? Because you have the permanent that you can place as many as you want. So that's this deck's big gimmick. We're going to do a lot of Z extras, and they all do different things. So let's take a peek at them. So there's a couple different ones, but there's I think there are a few that are definitely better than others. So let's just quick cover them all. The Kamikaze attack, increasing ranks, very simple. We're just going to sack a Z energy. Then if we have the extra Z extras, then we get to play 2 ghost tokens and they gain revenge. So basically it's just kind of like, hey, give a Z energy to make 2 more 15k attackers, which is solid, but there are enough 20k Z leaders, as well as obviously like Sensu Bean just against blue. And I'm not really super concerned about them being attacked by revenge. Like, I guess it helps if you're playing a control mirror maybe, but it really does not do a whole lot. I think one of the best ones is actually Die Missile Barrage. Just that when you have a blue Gotenks battle card, you get to switch to active mode and gains 5k for the turn. So you can turn all of them into dual or triple attackers based off if that's the case, right? And I think it's just really solid in terms of, hey, you know, like, it's just extra pressure for 0 energy, right? 1 extra Z energy is all you're going to need. So then we have a little bit of a trio here, all the cool techniques that he's got. The one that is the simplest, but maybe one of the strongest ones, again, is the Galactic Donut technique. So when it's placed in a battle area, you just bottom deck one of your opponent's 5 or lesses, and then whenever you want to, at the end of a turn, you can sack a Z energy to restand a blue energy at the end of the turn. So very good from a, you know, defensive standpoint. You're going to free play it, get removal, and then at the end of the turn, you're going to put an energy up. I mean, that's 2 pieces of defensive interaction that are really, really strong just to start off. Obviously, it allows you to also play, like, your boss monster a little bit sooner. Maybe play a Boo, and then you get to have 2 up, things like that. And then we have a 2-piece combo. So Super Donut Chain is for a blue, and you remove it from the game. When your opponent plays a battle card, you just get to immediately play the Ultra Buu Buu Volleyball straight out of your Z deck. And then you choose one of their cards, and it can't attack or be used in a combo, right? So it kind of like does the seal that they do, right? No attacking for you. Which for a blue, I think is pretty good. The fact that it's choose is a little questionable, but honestly, it still basically says, like, pay 1 energy, stop an attack, but you didn't have to put any energy into the initial play of the Z extra. You don't have to sack a Z energy to stop that. All you have to do is just have played Super Donut Chain for your free played one, and then go from there. So finally, the Charging Ultra Buu Buu Volleyball, which honestly looks like a super rare. It's just a common. So activate main limit 1. If we have a Gotenks in play, we remove it. We sack a Z energy and we remove it from the game. We get to choose one of our opponent's battle cards that's greater than its energy and bottom deck it. So, right, the fact that blue will then have access to barrier removal is really good. So if you just need little removal, you go for the Galactic Donut technique, right? Because it's just hitting a 5 or less, not ignoring barrier. But if you need something a little bit bigger, Ultra Buu Buu Volleyball will just remove anything that's bigger than their energy, ignoring barrier, which, you know, for a good while in the game is going to be relevant. So it's just a nice piece of interaction, right? The Super Donut Chain can stop like several attacks and then react on your opponent's turn. or during your turn again, so it's very useful. So, looks solid to start. Kamikaze attack is probably the weakest one, whereas Die, and I'd say maybe Galactic Donut's probably the best one, alongside Die. So let's look at some of those fusions. We have Gotenks releasing Energy Storm. This is our free fusion, deflect, limit 1, draw a card, fuse off of the pieces. When this card attacks, you combo with a card from your drop area, notably not once per turn. So if this is your main target, you can ideally do this right away and then play Die Missile Barrage and build 2 Z energy, which is really effective, right? Just no reason to just like use it, right? Die Missile Barrage basically turns us into a 15 and a 20k dual attacker for free. So that's definitely useful. On the right there, we have the regular Super Saiyan Gotenks, the Energy Storm. So that's just another draw 1 card. This time for 1, no deflect or barrier. Not terrible because it is a 5-cost 20k, so it's not going to be super hittable. But if you have 2 more blue Z extras in the battle area, you get to switch to active mode and then add back 1 of the blue skilluses from your drop to your hand. So it can turn into an additional plus in that sense. As well as then if it lives another turn, you get another plus. So dual attack 20 that draws back 2 of the cards that you spent on the 3, because it's 3 total cards, right? Gotenks, Trunks, Goten. Not super great. However, this card is actually good. The SS3 Energy Storm Explosion, for some reason they gave us the SPR, but it does look good. I can't wait to see like the actual foiling on it. So double strike dual attack for 3, we draw 2. When it's played, we'll bottom deck one of our battle cards, our opponent's battle cards, and then we're going to switch an energy back to the active mode at the end of the turn. So if we can get up several energy, right? This plus Die Missile Barrage is a 30k dual double. Or double strike triple attack for 30k that did the draw 2, right? So the card does a whole lot for 2 energy. Or for 3 energy, and then effectively just 2 if you think about how it'll play out on defense. So the fact that it's an 8 cost is pretty good, so it does avoid a lot of low cost removals, but at the same time it does have little bits of drawback that, you know, it basically can't ever attack over Unison of Fury or anything like that. Here are our intended pieces. You can see off to the left there, just some skillless, Goten, Trunks, whatever. I guess I would say they're swagged out, but they're not. So Goten warm-up moves and Trunks warm-up moves both do the same thing. At the end of the turn, you can bounce them to your hand, and then add the opposite named skill list from your deck to your hand. And for a blue, you get to play them, right? So they both basically just read, hey, draw a card, right? They're not terrible. They're 15k 3 drops, so they do meet a lot of other old synergy requirements, but they're just okay. And I'm going to ruin Goten for you. He's not wearing his sleeves in this one. I don't know if that's an anime thing, but he's not. So let's look at some of the in-set support. Piccolo is very simple, top 5 for Goten, Trunks, Gotenks, 6 or less. So you can't add the boss monster, kind of sus. And then activate main for a blue. If you have 4 more energy, you actually get to draw another card by adding the skilluses from your drop to your hand. So that's not bad, right? It's a 1 energy, or a 2 energy draw 2, just from hand for the fact that it's Piccolo. I wish it was searchable, but c'est la vie. And then lastly, our Z Unison, because who needs actual cards in your Z deck when you can just play 9 Z extras and Gotenks Rookie Future Assistance. He's a consistency booster. He's going to just bottom deck a card from your hand and then add the skilluses from your deck or drop to your hand for a +2. He's not great. The -3 is okay. If you have 4 more energy, 2 more Z extras, you can return 2 of your opponent's battle cards and then be a 25k attacker. That's fine. If anything, it's just like a 1/1 blue Z Unison, which is kind of relevant occasionally. So let's go ahead and check this out. Some old synergies. These are the fun parts. So this is just our set 1 vanillas. They have the same stat line as the new one. They didn't go for the 220s. They went for the 215s for this archetype just to keep in line with the fusion pieces. So if you just like these outfits more, go for them. Here are 2 of our stronger cards that are just in the generic names. So Goten, Challenge for a Fusion Warrior, is from our last set, actually. And honestly, this card's pretty good. So you just reveal a Trunks from your hand to play it for a blue. And then at the end of the turn, you just get to check for Trunks Youth or Gotenks, 6 or less, add it to your hand in the top 3. And if you do, you bounce the Goten. So it is protecting itself. And then it's helping your consistency for the next turn. I think it's honestly pretty fine. It's not the best card in the world, but it is like a fusion piece because it's 15k, it's 3 costs, whatever. Trunks Calamity Challenger is a great searchable name, but it's not a fusion target because it is a 20k. So, you know, just something to think about, that it does have a lot of early game synergy that you could bounce or bottom deck your own non-unique cards and bounce one of your opponent's battle cards. These are just our set of 1-drops that you could run, because none of the, I don't believe any of the fusion pieces actually require like 15k specifically. They just say blue blank, right, or just the names themselves. So on the left we have our Self-Awakeners, Restand Goten, Restand an Energy on Trunks, and then on the right we have 2 different cantrips for the names. So Trunks and Goten both just on play draw a card. They have additional effects, right? Goten can play that upcoming Gohan TP, and Trunks can add a Tapion Sword if you just didn't want to draw a card for whatever reason. The Wildfighter is Born is just literally a discard this extra card, add 2 pieces from your deck to your hand. Sure, it's technically the same as doing a cantrip, except the cards are in your hand instead of on board, which is really good. It's also an activate battle, so this does give additional synergies that you can basically turn an energy into a draw 2, or like a you know what I mean? Like you can pay an energy to draw an additional card on your opponent's turn as well. So that might just be okay with the fact that you are restanding so much energy from your Z extras and Gotenks. Finally, we have the Gotenks Return of the Grim Reaper of Justice. This card's not that great, but I will note that it does have Gotenks in its name, so it can trigger your Leaders Awaken if you don't happen to have the Union fusion pieces, or it's just not something you want to go for, right? If you just want to play the leader a little more generically, which don't, you could technically it and Awaken. Next, we've got some old Gotenkses. Gotenks Fusion Practice and Reckless Rush was from the Gotenks SH archetype. But honestly, it's really not terrible, right? So you'll just like pay 1 to play it as a 10k. It's not going to be great. You know, you might swing with a combo card just to build the Z energy. Maybe use a super combo or something to make it 20, a little more threatening. But then you can just pay 1 to swap into the Gotenks Reckless Rush, which is solid. So you'll be able to remove one of their cards, ignoring Barrier, and then it's a 25k triple strike. Unfortunately, it never restands, but you know, it's at least on the board, and you got rid of something, ignoring Barrier as a 25 triple strike. We have Quick Thinking Gotenks, which is the really old fusion from, I believe, set 5. So just for 2, you get to fuse into them, and it's really just, it's a big draw engine. So when it attacks, it draws, and when it's played with Union, you draw 2. So it immediately replaces all 3 of those cards, and then you'd also get the additional plus from your leader. And then because you played it Gotenks using Union, you get a Z extra. It's got critical. Because it is not once per turn attacks, this is the card that I think is going to be the best with Die Missile Barrage. You'll get to switch it up. It'll be 15 crit, draw, and then Die Missile Barrage, trigger, switch it up, 20 crit, draw. That's pretty solid. So I think this is one of the best ones. If you don't already have your foils, now is a great time to pick them up. Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks Facing the Phantom Demon. This is just the old support card from Tapion last set. Battle Trick. Really solid stuff. Also just searchable name. It's kind of a big piece. And then at the end of the turn, if you have the Gotens or Trunkses, you can get energy back up. We have some super combos. Take your pick. We got a Sparking 5. We got a Spirit Boost 4 life draw card guy. And then we have a Goten and Trunks, both of which are technically fusion pieces. Trunks is just if you have a Unison in play, so it does work with the Z Unison, that you could have super combos online faster. Or Goten just being a standard 4 life draw card. And that's really all we got today. Deck looks meh. I'm thinking that like the Quick Thinking Gotenks is kind of our best option. We're going to be kind of seeing what our available choices are and just looking ahead as we see the new set of support, right? It doesn't look like any of the TPs are for the deck. It doesn't look like it looks like we're basically done, right? We have 18 of the reveals already for blue. Typically there's 30 per color, and we have to imagine that after getting some legacy support, the rest will go to the modded blue deck. So this does look really sick. I hope you guys are really excited for Gotenks. It at least looks cool, right? The Z extra concept is super awesome, and I'll catch you on the next one.